I never thought my 75th year would be the one where I finally saw the truth. For decades, I'd been the family rock, the one who always had a solution, a spare bedroom, or a few extra dollars when someone needed help. My daughter Elaine called me the family bank as a joke, but I never minded. Family takes care of family. At least, that's what I believed. When Elaine mentioned a special family trip for my 75th birthday last February, I felt a flutter of excitement I hadn't experienced since Robert passed 3 years ago. "We're thinking somewhere warm, Mom," she said over Sunday coffee. "You've always talked about seeing the Florida Keys." I dreamed of those turquoise waters for years. Robert and I had planned to go for our 50th anniversary, but his health took a turn, and well, some dreams get postponed until they're forgotten. "Don't worry about a thing," Elaine said, squeezing my hand. "This is our gift to you. Just be ready in May." A week later, she asked if she could use my credit card, just to lock in the group rate, she explained. "I'll pay you back once my commission check comes through." I hesitated, but only briefly. Elaine had always been responsible with money, unlike her brother Thomas, who seemed to have a hole in his pocket. I handed over my card, feeling like I was contributing to my own surprise. As May approached, I bought new sandals and a sun hat. I carefully selected 3 summer dresses and packed my smallest bottles of lotion and shampoo. I even splurged on a new swimsuit, though the thought of wearing it in public made me nervous. The saleswoman assured me it was age-appropriate, but not frumpy. I chose to believe her. 2 days before my birthday, Elaine called. Her voice had that rushed quality it gets when she's driving and multitasking. "Mom, I hate to tell you this, but we're having to push the trip back a few weeks." My heart sank, but I kept my voice steady. "Oh, what happened?" "Just some scheduling conflicts with the kids' summer activities. We'll reschedule soon, I promise, but we'll definitely see you on your birthday for dinner." I reassured her it was fine. Plans change. Life happens. At least we'd have dinner together. On the morning of my 75th birthday, I woke early. I put on a dress I hadn't worn in years, a blue floral print that Robert always complimented. I spent extra time with my makeup and even put on the pearl earrings Robert gave me for our 40th anniversary. By noon, I had prepared all the family favorites: pot roast with carrots and potatoes, fresh rolls, green bean casserole, and a strawberry cream cake from the bakery downtown. I set the dining room table with my good china, the set we only used for Christmas and Easter, and arranged fresh flowers in the center. I lit candles at 5:30. By 6:30, I was checking my phone to make sure I hadn't missed a call. By 7:15, I was reheating everything. By 8, I was sitting alone at my beautifully arranged table, the candle wax pooling onto my grandmother's silver holders. No one called. No one texted. Not even a simple, "Happy birthday, Mom." I ate a small portion of pot roast that tasted like nothing. I blew out a single candle on my slice of cake and whispered, "Happy birthday" to myself, my voice echoing in the empty dining room. That night I lay awake wondering what had happened. Had there been an accident? Was someone in the hospital? But deep down, I knew no emergency would prevent all of them from sending even a quick text message. The next morning, my neighbor Carol stopped by with a birthday card. "How was your dinner with the family?" she asked cheerfully. I couldn't bring myself to tell the truth, so I just smiled weakly and said, "Oh, you know how family gatherings go." She nodded and pulled out her phone. "Did you see Emma's photos from Florida? Your grandkids look like they're having a blast." My hands trembled as she showed me my granddaughter's Instagram page. There they were, Elaine, her husband Paul, their children Emma and Jason, splashing in crystal clear water. Emma's caption read, "Family vacation finally happening. Best week ever." The post was dated yesterday. My birthday. Carol noticed my expression change. "Margaret, are you okay?" I excused myself and went to the bathroom, leaning against the sink to steady myself. When I returned, I asked Carol if she could help me check my email account. I rarely used it, and Elaine had set it up for me years ago, claiming she'd handle any important business that came through. After several password attempts, we got in. There it was, a confirmation email for a luxury beachfront rental in Key West. 7 nights, 4 bedrooms, paid in full with my credit card. The same card Elaine had borrowed, just for the group rate. Carol's face paled. Margaret, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I sat very still, my hands folded in my lap. Neither did I. After Carol left, I made myself a cup of tea and considered my options. I could call Elaine and confront her. I could pretend I never saw the photos. I could wait until they returned and see if they mentioned the trip at all. But something had shifted inside me. The hurt was transforming into something else, something clearer and stronger than I'd felt in years. The next day I called my bank. The customer service representative was sympathetic but firm. Mrs. Anderson, it appears you authorized these charges. Your daughter has been an authorized user on your account for the past 5 years. I hadn't known that. I thought she only used my card for emergencies or when I specifically asked her to order something online for me. I'd like to remove her immediately, I said. Of course. And would you like to dispute any charges? I hesitated, then said, not yet, but I'd like a complete statement going back 12 months. When the statement arrived 3 days later, I spread it across my kitchen table. There they were, dozens of charges I didn't recognize, restaurants I'd never visited, clothing stores where I hadn't shopped in years, electronic devices I didn't own, and most recently, plane tickets and the vacation rental. I sat at my table for a long time, remembering how I'd scaled back on my own small pleasures. The weekly hair appointment I'd reduced to monthly, the mystery novels I borrowed from the library instead of buying, the thermostat I kept at 68 degrees all winter to save on heating, all while Elaine was treating my account like her personal expense account. I called my old friend Richard, who had been an attorney before retiring. He listened quietly as I explained, then said, Margaret, this is financial abuse. It's more common than you might think, especially with elderly parents. I'm not elderly, I said automatically, then realized how ridiculous that sounded on my 75th birthday. Richard chuckled. Forgive me, but the point stands, you need to protect yourself. With Richard's help, I made an appointment with a financial advisor and an elder law attorney. By the time Elaine and the family returned from their vacation, I had closed my old accounts, opened new ones solely in my name, frozen my credit, and updated my will. A week after their return, Elaine called, her voice casual. Hi Mom, just checking in. Sorry we've been so busy. How about we come over this Sunday for a late birthday celebration? That would be lovely, I said, surprising myself with how calm I sounded. That Sunday, they arrived with a small cake and a gift bag containing a refrigerator magnet from Key West. No one mentioned the trip until Jason, my 12-year-old grandson, started showing me photos on his tablet. Look, Grandma, this is where we stayed. It had its own pool and everything. Elaine quickly interrupted. Jason, Grandma doesn't want to see all those boring photos. Actually, I said, taking the tablet from Jason, I'd love to see them. Especially since I paid for it. The room went silent. Paul suddenly became interested in his shoes. Emma froze with her fork halfway to her mouth. Jason looked confused. Elaine's face flushed. Mom, what are you talking about? I smiled slightly. The vacation, the flights, the rental house, all on my credit card. I was going to tell you, she stammered. We just thought with your arthritis and everything, you wouldn't enjoy all that walking and swimming. So you decided to enjoy it for me? I asked, without telling me? Paul attempted to change the subject. This cake is delicious, Margaret. I turned to him. It's from the grocery store. I've scaled back on my expenses recently. Elaine's eyes narrowed. What does that mean? It means I've closed our joint account and removed you as an authorized user on my credit card. Her face went from flushed to pale. You can't do that. Actually, I can, and I did. But how will I pay for Emma's dance lessons, and Jason's soccer? You know our budget is tight right now. I looked at my daughter, truly looked at her, and saw not the child I'd raised, but a woman who had convinced herself that taking advantage of her mother was somehow justified. The same way other parents do, I imagine, with your own money. Emma spoke up, her voice small. Did you know about our trip, Grandma? I shook my head. Not until I saw your Instagram post, on my birthday. Emma looked horrified. She turned to her mother. You told me Grandma didn't want to come. You said she'd rather have a quiet birthday at home. She would have slowed us down, Elaine hissed. That wasn't your decision to make, I said. Neither was spending my retirement savings on your lifestyle. Elaine stood abruptly. I've done everything for you. Who takes you to doctor appointments? Who helps with your groceries? Who calls to check on you? And who pays for it all? I asked quietly. Me. Always me. They left shortly after, Elaine slamming the door, Paul apologizing awkwardly, Emma in tears, and Jason confused. I sat in my quiet house feeling strangely at peace among the ruins of what I'd thought was a close family relationship. The next few months weren't easy. Elaine alternated between angry texts and wounded silence. Paul called once to suggest family counseling. Emma visited a few times without her parents' knowledge, bringing homemade cards and genuine remorse. Richard checked in regularly, helping me navigate my new financial independence. My neighbor Carol invited me to her book club, where I met other women my age, many with similar stories of family complications. When my 76th birthday approached, I decided to do something completely different. I booked a small group tour to the Florida Keys, specifically designed for senior travelers, with a relaxed pace and comfortable accommodations. I sent Elaine a brief note. I'll be away for my birthday this year, taking myself to the Keys. I've paid for it with my own money, which is now carefully protected. The door remains open when you're ready to rebuild our relationship on more honest terms. The morning of my trip, Carol drove me to the airport. Are you nervous? She asked. Terrified, I admitted, but also excited. As the plane lifted off, I glanced down at my hands, the same hands that had worked hard all my life, that had given and given until they were nearly empty. Now they held my own boarding pass, my own future. That evening, I sat on a restaurant terrace overlooking the ocean, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and orange. The waiter brought a complimentary dessert with a single candle when I mentioned it was my birthday. Make a wish, he said. I closed my eyes, blew out the candle, and made a wish for courage, to keep valuing myself, to maintain my boundaries, and to remain open to whatever healing might come with time. I ate my birthday dinner alone that year, but I wasn't lonely. For the first time in decades, I was fully present in my own life, the author of my own story, and it tasted like freedom,